Yes, people, welcome back to another video. Make sure you smash a like, make sure you subscribe because Newcastle, you have finally done some business. You have finally got something through in the transfer window. And it's not just anyone, it's a player that I believe has some very, very good potential in AC Milan central defender Malick Thiaw. The 24-year-old has agreed to join Newcastle United, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. As you can see here, Malick Thiaw to Newcastle. Here we go. New centre back for Eddie Howe. Agreement in place with 40 million euros package, add-ons included. AC Milan verbally accept the proposal. Deal at the final stages now, as reported earlier, and now considered done. He only wanted Newcastle, medical soon. Well, that's a change because it says he only wanted Newcastle, and that's not what they've been faced with in the transfer window so far. Brian Mbumo, Scalvini at the moment, Alexander Isak wants out. Benjamin Sesko chose to come to Manchester United. It's not been the prettiest ride for Newcastle at the moment. They got Anthony Elanga in early, and like I said already, that is a very good signing in terms of the way they're heading in a direction. But when you get Champions League, you want more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more because I believe that you've learned from your mistakes from last time. You know that the squad depth is important and you need quality as well. It's not just bringing in anybody. And signing Malick Thiaw is a very good move. I think he's been ready to leave AC Milan for the last year or so, but it's about finding the right club, finding the right league where you can develop, you can grow, and you're going to a team that you feel like suits you and is ready to play you. And Malick Thiaw comes into me at Newcastle with Fabian Schär getting a bit older now into his 30s as a potential starter and then next season main starter, because right now he can rotate with Fabian Schär. They've got Champions League, they've got the league, they need rotation, they need to keep people fresh. But come next season, if he can do what I think he can do, Malick Thiaw can become a main starter for Newcastle. And do you know what? I like this signing because when I look at this signing, right, I always look at what teams, I say it in most videos, I look at what teams want and what type of player they go for. Do they need that player? Do they need that profile? And who are they going to be playing alongside, whether it's a central midfielder, whether it's a centre back, who's a combination at fullback? And you look at it now, and we know that if this guy stays fit, Sven Botman, he is a starting centre back for Newcastle. He's got it locked in at left centre back. He's strong, he's physical, he's pretty mobile, and he's pretty quick. He's got everything you want of a mechanics of a Premier League defender. But it's always like, right, okay, we've got Sven Botman, who's a great age in his mid-20s, but who are we going to have alongside him for the long term? Who's going to be the guy that we can say, right, we're going to pair you together and we're going to say this is going to be the partnership for Newcastle when it comes to big games, Premier League, Champions League. Who is it going to be? Now, Fabian Schär can do it for another year, but we all know, like I said, he's getting a bit older. So there might be chances for Malick Thiaw to come in and overtake him, but also they can rotate. But one thing that is going to stick is that is Sven Botman at left centre-back and Dan Burn can be his deputy. Now, that's fine. You've got 4 solid centre-backs there in Newcastle for at least another season. Then you can go into the window next year and do that. But again, like I'm telling you, Malick Thiaw for me is the perfect type of partner for Sven Botman. And the reason I say that is because if anyone's watched Malick Thiaw, he's a very promising young defender. He is strong as well. He's pretty good in aerial duels. But for me, it's the technical side and the speed in this game. This guy is a quick centre-back. He's got the pace. He's got the recovery pace. And I think that's immense when you have a player like Sven Botman. He's going to be a front foot defender. He's going to be aggressive, go into the duels. And you've got someone like Malick Thiaw that can, mop up. Because when it's like Schär and Botman, you know that Newcastle might get caught out for some pace in behind or players might run off their shoulder. But when you've got someone like Malick Thiaw now who can play alongside Sven Botman, it allows partnerships, relationships. Rio Ferdinand and Vidic, when I was growing up, it was always Vidic as the aggressor, winning the ball, going for the duels. Ferdinand was there, mopping up. You see it at Liverpool now, people. Konate, he's the one going aggressive, winning the duels. Van Dijk there, mopping up. But now they've both got pace. So one goes on the right-hand side, they can do 1v1 duels. Van Dijk can do the same on the other. But you have partnerships at centre-back for a reason because you want to make sure that they can bounce off each other. You don't want 2 really aggressive players going for the ball, leaving space in behind. And Malick Thiaw, for me, now frees up Sven Botman to be more aggressive. And he's like, right, I've got the recovery pace to cover any mistakes in that back line. And I think as well, like, Newcastle, that type of team where they want players coming into their prime or in their prime. And look, Malick Thiaw is 24 years of age. German international when he's in the squad, but he's 24 years of age. And when you're a centre back, you're not at your peak at 27. We all know that. You're not at your peak at 27. You're going to come into your peak at maybe 27, 28, 29. And that's when you can then become that full-fledged defender. But he's still got room to improve. He's got room to grow. But we all know in Eddie Howe, he is a coach and he's a very good one. Respect his time at Bournemouth. I respect him even more now for his time at Newcastle, getting him into the Champions League 2 out of 3 seasons. The quality of signings, Grimares, Tonali, Elanga, bringing in them type of players, Livramento. He's got an eye for a good player. He's got an eye for what he wants in his team, and he's got an eye to coach and make players improve, make players better. And I think he's going to do that with Malick Thiaw, because Malick Thiaw, a few seasons ago, 3-4 years ago, was rated as a serious potential to be one of the best centre-backs in Europe up and coming. But in Milan in the last recent years, I'll be honest with you, it has stagnated a little bit. He played 20 league games in the 22-23 season, 21 23-24, and 22 last season. So 20, 21, 22. And I feel like someone of Malick Thiaw, whether it's injuries and not getting favoured by the manager, a combination, you want to be playing at least maybe, 29 to 30 games of that season. Yeah, 30 and above, I think that's a consistent mark you want to be at if you're staying fit. And I feel like at AC Milan, he's in the squad and sometimes he's out the squad. He's never had that full momentum of, right, I'm going to play a full season and really showcase what I can do. And if I make a few mistakes, cool, you rock with that and you understand it. But also I'm going to put in some very good performances. And I just feel like now him at Milan, it's just hit that point where it's like, do you know what? Milan maybe want to head in a different direction, and he does too. And the stars have aligned. And that is why he is now moving to Newcastle, because I think he's ready to play at right centre-back. They are needing a centre-back with Fabian Schär getting older. He gives you the qualities you need in terms of recovery pace, and he's good on the ball. He's very comfortably technical on the ball. And I think you need that as a modern day defender. Sven Botman's comfortable on the ball. Don't get it wrong. Like, he's got the diags. He gives me Maguire vibes on the ball, which are comfortable. But I feel like Thiaw is also that. And that gives you another weapon to build up from the right-hand side. Another weapon in passing through the lines, getting the ball into midfield. Tonali, Grimares, Joe Linton and stuff like that. He's very technical. And then players there are always going to be successful as long as they can be competent in what they're doing defensively. And I think Thiaw can do that. Like I said, he's decent height. He's decent in the air. He's comfortable on the ball. He's got the recovery pace. He's got a lot of boxes ticked that Newcastle would be looking for in a partner for Sven Botman. There would be a couple of areas that I think, he could improve on. I think his spatial awareness at times, I think he can get caught out, maybe ball watching. But I think that's part of learning and growing and developing. So you could say spatial awareness. And then I do think it may be in tight areas in the box. If you've got players in front of you that are quick at twisting and turning, he might be a bit slower off the mark. But come on now, like, what defender is going to be perfect? None are. So I think there are parts of his game that he can work on, especially the spatial awareness, maybe the reading the game slightly at times. But, I think in terms of the overall package and player, I like this type of signing for Newcastle. I think a lot of teams are making smart signings, if I'm totally honest with you. I like the one that Aston Villa has signed in terms of Guesson, Cherky and Reinders to Manchester City. When you look at not always the biggest players, I'm on about players that are smart for that team. Dewsbury Hall to Everton. I think that's a very good signing for Everton. And again, now this one with Malick Thiaw at a great age, a great price, coming in with Serie A experience, a German international. This guy is ready now to showcase himself in the Premier League. I think he's got the attributes to succeed. And I think it's a clever move from Newcastle, because he's one that I think will be settled there. He ain't going to be linked with a move away straight away. He's coming with a point to prove as well. And I think Newcastle, the fans, the players, a lot of them come there with a point to prove, or are they going to cut it? That sort of thing. No one sort of goes there and it's like, yeah, he's just going to make it. He's just going to be, he's going to be perfect. I think Thiaw's going to be good, but he's coming in with a point to prove. He's going to have the experience of Fabian Schär to learn off as well. And he's going to get game time guaranteed because you're playing 2 games a week, Champions League, Premier League. So I think this is a very clever signing for the Newcastle squad. I think it's very good for Eddie Howe in terms of he can develop him and grow him. And I think also for Thiaw's development of his career, I think, he can improve. He can get better. He's 24 years of age. So just allow him to grow, allow him to develop. But Newcastle, you now have your new centre-back. And I think he's someone that you guys are going to like, you're going to take to, and you're going to see that potential that was rated him as 3-4 years ago, one of the hottest centre-backs coming through the European football scheme. So guys, Newcastle, you have your centre-back. I understand the signing. I respect the signing, and I like the signing for where you're going right now and with your squad. So, guys, like this video, subscribe if you're a Newcastle fan, or if you're a football fan in general, and I hope to see you on the other side. Bless up.